Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
Happy Friday, guys. Welcome back right here to Wager Talk TV for another episode of Puck Time. I'm your host, Andrew McInnis, joined by Carmine, Bianco, and the Prez here on this Friday morning. Guys, we have three pretty decent games to go over, but before we start things off, I'll ask you guys how your night was. Carm, what's up, man?
Carm had a day from absolute hell yesterday. Hell. There's no other way to explain it. I looked at my card over the last 6 months to a year, and I've never had a day as bad as it was yesterday. I'm hearing kind of feedback. Not really sure why. It was quite positive. It was a horrible day, and it culminated with an 0-3 night in NHL. I wasn't happy about that at all. So we will, and this comes off a winning NHL week last week, and then a 3-1 Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I literally, for lack of a better word, to use our producer's words, you shit the bed, 2-6. So we'll turn it around. NHL, 7 days. I actually created something just a few minutes ago with the girls in the office, a 7-day NHL all access package. And if you use the coupon penalty 7, because that's like a 2 and a 5 for fighting, instead of $99, you get it for $49, like $7 a day. At least my math is right on that one. And we'll right the ship. Apologies to the guys who followed along.
I'm right there with you, Carm. And, we do this and we announce this stuff so that way when we're on a hot streak, we can announce that as well. Because we're not going to sit here on this show and announce when we're on a hot run and we're feeling good about ourselves if we can't come on here and say that things aren't working out. 0-3 last night. I think it's my first winless night in the NHL. I've of course had nights where I was 1-2 or things of that nature, but tough to see. I mean, the Blackhawks, Prez, I know you said that they've been kind of an enemy of yours as well. I went against them. I had Columbus last night. That didn't go well. I had an over. Didn't quite get there. Rough night for me. But staying hot with hoops, though. College basketball, NBA is kind of really keeping me alive. So for all access subscribers, they're doing okay. But for you hockey guys, we'll try and get things going. Prez, what's up with you, man?
Andrew, I had a 2-2 night last night. I was staring down the barrel of an 0-4 night, and then the Panthers came back for me, and Washington put that game away. Interesting game, 1-0 with 16 minutes to go in the third, and it goes over the total of 6. If you just take Chicago and St. Louis out of my NHL plays, I would be rolling. This Blackhawks team has just killed me. I keep playing against them. I don't know why. I know they're going to revert back to the form that I expected. But right now, they're just winning. I mean, but them and the LA Kings are just super surprising to me. But I did have a 2-2 night. And now we move on. We move on to tonight.
And I saw a few pictures and videos from the Prez. I don't know if he was in the circus or if he was doing some kind of act, but last night he was sending me a few funny videos. I was pretty impressed by them, Prez. So interesting talent you have, but we'll get into that later in the show. We'll try and get into some games here, and then we'll talk about that because I want to hear all about it from you live on the air here. Guys, we are talking about the Bruins and the Rangers game here out the gate. Let's get right into it. The Bruins -180, the Rangers +150. I think one thing I'll say about this Rangers team is I've been happy to see that they've been moving around their lines quite a bit. I think David Quinn if there was a coach right now after Claude Julien goes, which I know people have mixed feelings about that, he might be on the hot seat. The Rangers have not performed well. They have not mixed up their lines well enough, and their zone entry has looked horrible. The Bruins now -180. They came off a huge win against Philly in Lake Tahoe. Then yesterday was a whole new story with their game. So, Carm, as we approach this one, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to this Bruins side yesterday. They were fine till they got to that third period, and then they just absolutely imploded. 5 goals. You don't see the Bruins allow 5 goals in a third period, almost never, and none of those 5 were empty net goals to boot. So that was Halak in net. You got Rask back in net tonight. He's their number one, obviously, guy, and you have to figure they're going to be a little bit. They have to be a little bit better. They've won the only 2 games with the Rangers this year, both in New York. You have to figure that bad third period is going to spark them to have a better first period. You can look at the first period in this one. I don't want to lay a $1.75 with the Bruins off of that game. And it's funny, if you look at the lines for tonight's 3 games, they're basically all lined the same, with a team at minus 170, 175, and the over/under at 5.5. If anything, I'd probably look to the under, figuring a better defensive effort and Rask in net. But I'm not laying the 175 here. I'd look at maybe the Bruins first period and an edge to the under as well too.
The under is where I'm looking, Prez, in this game. I'm really going to stay away from the side, but I believe the Bruins will bounce back with a better effort defensively. If they get the lead, they'll sit on it, they'll protect it. And the Rangers, they're just inconsistent right now still.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm looking at the under as well. That's actually my show best bet, is the under in this game. Look, I mean, the Rangers have played under 7 out of their last 9 games. And the Bruins, when they're at their best, shut teams down and play to the under. We've had 2 games in a row with Boston with 9 last night and 10 the couple of nights before. I agree with Carmine. They're going to revert back to their slow-paced, neutral zone, trappy type of defense. And with Rask in net, I expect a better performance. The Bruins cannot be happy last night, and the only way to bounce back from letting in 7 is to let in none. So I like the under. It's probably my favorite play on the card.
And Carm, to your point, this Bruins team was actually one of the best third-period teams statistically in the league. And that collapse was just ridiculous. Yeah. I was actually at a bar watching that game, and the bartender that works there, I know him pretty well. He's a huge Bruins fan. And, of course, obviously, he's working at the time, so he can't watch the game all the time. So he comes by the table, he's bringing us his drinks, and he's feeling good. He's like, yeah, it's 2-2. The Bruins are winning, or it's a close game. And he stops watching the TV for like 10 minutes, and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, they collapsed. Like, the game's over. So weird to see that with the Bruins team.
Yeah, Andrew, and listen, anyone who's followed you on Twitter knows that you've been telling people to take the Bruins when they're down, because they're a very good third period team. And I didn't heed that advice in any of those ones where they were down a goal or down 2. I didn't take them in game, and you guys were cashing with those in-game bets on Twitter. So good to you on that. And yeah, I didn't expect them to collapse in the third period. You figure that, even at 2, they could lose the game, but you're never expecting a Bruins team to allow 5 goals with none of them being empty netters.
Yeah, I mean, Prez, it was just an aberration, guys. It was just an aberration.
But it wasn't just like a 1-goal collapse. It wasn't just a 1-goal collapse, though. It was a few goals.
Yeah, but it's one game. I mean, one game. It's going to happen. Think about what they've done to teams in the third period. I mean, I remember them being down 2 or 3 goals and winning games in the third. So let's not overthink this. I mean, they have lost 3 of their last 4. I don't think the Bruins are as good as their record to begin with, but let's just forgive the Bruins a bad third period. Andrew, at some point, I want to talk about Ralph Krueger.
Oh, God. Yeah, please. I'm good with that. I don't know what he's doing in Buffalo, but whenever you want to talk about it.
So let me say my take on it now.
Let's hear it.
So, look, I got nothing against Ralph Krueger. I got nothing against, extremely old men. But here's what I know. Look, I don't know much about Ralph Krueger. I know he's no Stanley Cup winning Scotty Bowman, John Cooper, whatever. But here's what I know. If you are a general manager of a hockey team and the guy you're interviewing for a coaching job is over the age of, say, 50, just don't hire him. That's it. Doesn't matter who he is. When was the last time an old coach won a Stanley Cup? Now, Coops is probably getting old, but he is the guy responsible for the change in hockey, because he's the guy that put that 5-man movement in place at Tampa long before Sheldon Keefe and a lot of these other guys. Hockey has changed so much in the last 10 years. There's no possible way a 70-year-old man who has been stuck in his ways can understand and adapt to the new style of hockey. What the hell is Buffalo thinking?
Especially with the youth they have on their team. I agree with you right there. However, I have to say, because he's from, the East Coast here, Rick Bowness, head coach of the Dallas Stars, 66 years old. So, I mean, he did it right. He did something right. But the problem is, Prez, the argument I make is that Dallas has veteran players. Yeah, I know, but Dallas has veteran players. Buffalo has younger, skilled type players that need a new level, new coach. And that's the problem. These old school coaches, they're stuck in their ways, like Prez said. They're stuck in their ways. That's why I don't really get people hating on the Ducharme acquisition or the switch, because Claude Julien was old school, Ducharme is new school. We'll see how it works. But guys, the LA Kings and the Minnesota Wild go head to head tonight. And these are two teams that I feel all of us, the Puck Time crew, have to give some credit to, because the LA Kings are riding a 6-game winning streak right now. The Wild, I believe it's a 4-game winning streak. And whether we want to admit it or not, this division has been a hell of a lot more competitive than I think any of us thought it might be. We look at this St. Louis team, they are like 500 right now. They are literally 500 with, including their overtime losses. And approaching this LA Kings team, they are not just beating poor teams. They are not just winning low-scoring games. They are scoring goals. And I was making fun of their top 6. I said a guy named Andreas Athanasiou, who was on the second or third line with the Edmonton Oilers that could barely score, is now finding his stride and playing really, really well for this Kings team. And the Wild, now they're minus 180 against this King. There's no way that I am fading this Kings team here at that price. You might like the Wild. You might want to go -1. You might want to go with the regulation wager. But there's no way for me that I am taking this team minus 180 versus a team that's that successful. Carm, we've got some flack in the comment section. People saying, why are you guys not talking about the Kings? These guys hate not talking about the Kings. So here it is. Here's the respect I'm giving the Kings. They're winning low-scoring games. They're winning high-scoring games. Their goaltending has been great. This should be actually a pretty good game, man.
Let's see him play a real team, which happens to be almost no teams in this entire division.
Well, with the exception right now of like Vegas and I would say Colorado, who are the two best teams in this league. But no, listen, you can only beat who they put in front of you. This is the way it works in the NHL. You can only beat who in front of you, and they're playing well and they're winning games. If you go back to last Thursday, so essentially the last 8 days or what have you, and you bet on every game played by either LA or Minnesota, you're 8-0. They're the hottest two teams over the past week. And you going back even a couple days further to that is when LA played Minnesota, and LA won that game 4-0. That was Minnesota's first game off of that 11 or 13-day stretch after COVID. Minis look good. I keep saying it. No one expected Mini to go into Colorado and win. I did. I thought they would play Mini tough, and they beat them 6-2, making it 4 straight wins. They're home. I don't want to lay, like Andrew said, I don't want to lay $1.75 when you have two hot teams. Regardless of whether you think they're a good team or you think they're not a good team or who they've played, the fact is when a team is on a roll, they're a live dog every single time. Minnesota was on a roll. They're a live dog going into Colorado, and they won. So with that said, I'm not laying $1.75 with Minnesota, even though I think they win. If I was going to take Minnesota and I thought they do it in regulation time, I'll lay the minus 105. to 108 on Minnesota and take them to win in regulation. That is the way I would take it. Again, lane 175 long term. It doesn't take a genius to figure out you're going to get killed.
Teams, including Tampa Bay and Toronto, that haven't won 6 games in a row. I get it.
Mhm.
Look, the bottom line for me is I think Minnesota's a much better team. But like Carm said, minus 175, playing into a 6-0 streak, that's just stupidity. I like the over in this game, Andrew. It's the only place I'm going here. The number is 5. Minnesota is scoring, and both teams are playing to the over. The LA Kings are 11-7 to the over this year. Minnesota is 9-7 to the over this year. Minnesota put up some great numbers against Colorado. I'm going to the over here, but look, the standing, the what's it called? The divisions. The divisions are just Washington, Pittsburgh, the Islanders, Philadelphia, Boston. You got all these teams crammed into, one division, and then you've got this division, which is a total freaking joke. Sure, Vegas and Colorado are good teams, but come on, the Ducks, the Sharks, the Coyotes, the Kings, the Blues, they couldn't score a goal if the goalie did not play. And the Blues had an empty net to shoot at. Put me down for the under. I don't think this division is very fair, and these teams are going to get annihilated when they finally make it to the Final Four, whichever. Well, that's not true, because Vegas and the Avs will be one of the 2 teams that get through, and those 2 teams are for real.
Yeah, well, Prez, to your point, a lot of people are saying that that's going to be an issue when it comes to the conference finals, right? When you see a team like, let's say, Colorado, if they make it out, or Vegas, they series are going to be sweeps. You mean like the first in the division, like the 1 versus 4? And
Andrew,
okay, yeah.
Andrew, the bottom line is it's totally irrelevant. I mean, look, anyone can argue that Toronto and Edmonton are sitting in the exact same spot, right? So, I mean, it's not like the North is some monster team. I mean, there's only 2.5 real teams in that division. And I'll let you guys fight over the half.
Oh, okay.
No, to your point, I agree with you, though. The divisions has caused it to be certain teams looking better than what they actually appear to be. And that's why, to be honest with all of you guys out there watching, that's why we haven't really spoken about the LA Kings too much, because they hadn't really impressed me for that long, even though they were getting wins. But they did deserve the spotlight today, but obviously there's only 3 games. Carm, any last thoughts with that matchup?
Yeah, we're still talking about the Minnesota LA matchup, but to Prez's point on first round sweeps, if you go through the 4 divisions, the West is probably the only division where there's likely to be a first round sweep. I still think the other ones are competitive. I think whoever finishes first in the West is going to obviously get the weaker opponent, because the top 3 at the end of the day are going to be, if you subscribe to this theory, are going to be Vegas, Colorado, and St. Louis in that order, Vegas, Colorado, St. Louis in that order, or Colorado, Vegas, St. Louis. So that 4th spot's going to be occupied by a Minnesota, a Coyotes, or an LA Kings side, and either one of those teams up against like a Vegas or Colorado in a 7-game series likely gets swept. The middle 2 matchups are a little tougher. So with that said, I'm sticking to my original Minnesota in regulation time. Not saying it's a play. I'm saying if I'm playing this game, that's the only way I would take it. Just not laying that juice.
All right, guys, next game up. Carmine did mention that it's 3 games and 3 pretty heavy favorites here tonight. It's the Avalanche. We just talked about them taking on the Coyotes now. And look, if you look at the numbers, look at the stats here, the numbers would pretty much tell you the Avalanche have owned the Coyotes, and the over has hit 5 of the last 6 between these 2 teams. And if you look at the head-to-heads and you're a big fan of recency and you're a big fan of matchups and teams bouncing back, Avalanche are off a 6-2 loss. They had some competitive games against the Vegas Golden Knights. They had some competitive games prior to that. And Carm, like Minnesota was sitting there ready and waiting to jump all over this Colorado Avalanche team. However, I do expect them to be a bounce back team. They're minus 185. We have to find a way to make some profit here tonight with these favorites. Prez, how you going to approach this game?
You know, Andrew, what we're starting to learn with Colorado, and if you go back, I really thought Colorado, Philadelphia, these were two Stanley Cup contending teams, and I love Colorado, especially Nate McKinnon. But what we're learning with this team is that they just don't have any secondary scoring anywhere. Their third and fourth line can't do a thing. You know, this is a one-trick pony right now, and teams are realizing it and figuring out ways to shut them down. Arizona, man, oh man. If they know, if they show up at game time, then they have a chance to beat any team in the league. History suggests that they usually miss the first period. They're in traffic, and then they got to make some ridiculous comeback. I think this is an incredible spot for Colorado, to be honest with you. Colorado in regulation seems like the play to me. Two miracle comeback wins from Arizona over Anaheim. That stuff has got to be emotionally draining, to say the least. I like Colorado in regulation here, man.
I'm right there with you, Prez. And Carm, you always say get on a team at the start of the streak, but is this that kind of scenario? Because to Prez's point, there was a lot that went into those comebacks. There was a lot. That was an exciting game, guys. Like, that was an awesome game. I caught the third period of that Arizona versus Anaheim game. Went to a shootout. It was a pretty big collapse, to be honest with you. So, Carm, when you always say get on a team at the start of their streak, is this the exact same scenario you look for, or not really quite yet?
No, not really, not right yet. I hate to actually agree with both you and Prez on this, and the only reason I don't want to, I hate to agree with you guys, is nothing that you said was wrong. Is that all three of us agree on a pick, it becomes a consensus pick, and then literally those consensus picks go down the tubes. But Prez is right. The only way to play this game is Colorado in regulation time, because you can't lay that number. I'm not gonna look at Zona to be the team that because those were some almost miracle comebacks against an Anaheim team,
Yeah.
and they've got a tough schedule ahead. A couple against the Avalanche, and then you play Kings team, who are playing really hot right now, and then you play Minnesota a couple times, the Avalanche again a couple times, and then Minnesota 3 straight games. So you've got teams that are playing extremely well right now, and a Colorado team who is a very good team as well too. So you've got to be very good to be able to get into a win streak against the schedule that they have upcoming, and I don't think they are. So it's a pass for me on Arizona, to the Arizona train, as we call it, and Avalanche in regulation time for me.
It's nice to be able to find some really dominant stats. I haven't found like some really huge scaled ones, but guys, the Avalanche 8-1 their last 9 games, following a loss of 3 or more goals. 8-2 their last 10 after scoring 2 or less goals in their previous game. They're also 16-4 their last 20 against a team with a losing record. I mean, these stats are interesting to look at because they probably work for most good teams, right? And that's where I feel like it's kind of irrelevant. But it's cool to look at with some of these teams. How do they bounce back? How do they play after they lost by not just 1 goal, but by a few goals, or when they scored just 2 goals? And teams like Colorado, teams like Tampa Bay, Prez mentioned a couple days ago, and I follow the exact same trends. They have the ability to bounce back here. So I feel like if your book does not offer you the regulation line, or if you can't approach it in that way, I would recommend a team total here for Colorado in this game, because it's been proven long-term that they have bounced back and scored goals in their next game. Prez mentioned that depth. He's certainly right, and I feel like tonight, if I'm looking at props for assists or for goals, I'm looking down the pecking order here at the second or third line to see if some guys can get going. And also, to Prez's point about Arizona, fatigue has to play a factor. They're professional athletes, but they just played 2 rough games, 2 tough, hard-working games, and they certainly weren't easy for them. Guys, that's our 3 games here for today. Just 3 games on the card. Of course, there's 2 more games that were supposed to be scheduled, but we're still dealing with some COVID protocol. Prez, I believe you mentioned it, but I can't remember what it was. So we'll go to you with your best bet, your power play, and anything you might have to promo for today.
Well, my best bet on the show for today is the under in the Bruins game. I'll give you a best bet for tomorrow as well. Why not? I got the mic. Winnipeg, they're playing Montreal. They're a short dog. Yesterday, Andrew, everybody and their mother was on Montreal, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me why Montreal on a 6-game losing streak goes into Winnipeg as a minus 130. Winnipeg was an incredible bet yesterday, and I'm going right back to the well again, brother. So there's 2 for you guys.
2 picks just to rub it in my face. I love it, Prez. I wish you the best of luck
Why,
from a business
How did I rub it in
standpoint.
your face?
No, I'm just joking. Because it's my team. I'm just joking. It's all love. Carm, what do you have for a power play, man?
All right, my power play is I'm going a different route. Someone asked for us to preview one of the games for tomorrow, but we don't have obviously time to do that. But they wanted us to preview the Florida-Carolina game tomorrow. That's actually my show best bet. It will be on the Carolina Panthers minus 120. Carolina Panthers. Did I actually just say that? Carolina Panthers? The Carolina Hurricanes minus 120.
Happy Friday, Carl. Happy Friday, man.
I actually cover all angles with that. I said the Panthers. I said Carolina. So, but it is the Carolina Hurricane tomorrow minus 120 to use one of Prez's things from, I believe it was like on Wednesday. Florida is still working on, well, they did come back and win that game against Dallas, a bit of a miracle comeback against Dallas. They still don't have that winning culture that I believe can grind out games. And this Carolina team ran into a bit of a buzzsaw in Tampa Bay. So they're still down there in Florida. I look for them to bounce back, and I'll lay the minus 120 with Carolina. Also, one quick thing, Andrew, for you guys in the chat out there, I am not founder and president or owner of this company like the Prez is, but I'm going to make that penalty 7 coupon that I have up for, which is if you use penalty 7 and purchase the 7-day NHL All Access, you can get it for $49 instead of $99. I'm going to get the girls to make that coupon active for Andrew and Lawrence. So give that about 20 minutes if you're going to there. All right, it's already done. Look at that. See, when you're president and co-founder of the company, apparently you've got everything at your fingertips. Anyways, that's active for all 3 of us.
All right, thanks a lot to Carmine Prez for setting that up. I'll get the credit for both of them. But Carmine with the coupon code. I'm going to go ahead with the over Colorado, Arizona. It's 5.5. A bounce back situation for this Colorado team. And Arizona has scored some goals right now. The history between these 2 teams dictates the over. You guys know how I feel about these 5.5s. Over the past few days, they haven't really been too great for me. But I feel like this is a great spot for them. I also recommended that team total, but I know not every book offers it, which is why I will go with the full game over 5.5 for my show best bet. Guys, I got 4% best bet going up directly after this show for the UFC for tomorrow. UFC has been outstanding for me every single weekend. It's just great to look forward to. Great to get some action. I know we have some great UFC cappers at this website, but I have been on a hot run over the past 3 to 4 weeks now in the UFC, picking my spots with about 2 to 3 plays per day. And I have just one spot I'm circling along with that free play, that best bet. That is going to be a client play, but also one other play I am looking at for tonight in the NHL. The power plays are listed right there. I'm on the over. Coyotes, Avalanche. Carmine likes the Hurricanes and the Prez with the Bruins, Rangers under 5.5. And an additional play for Saturday, the Jets plus 100. And I can't argue with that price there on the Jets. Great price there. On behalf of Prez, Carm, all of our guys here at WagerTalk.com, have a great weekend. Happy Friday, and we'll see you on Monday.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.